Stinging nettle. Yeah, just the name makes you kind of cringe, right? We've all been there. We've all felt that sting. But what if I told you that this weed we all try to avoid is actually one of the most incredible plants you could have in your garden? Let's dive in and find out why.
So here's a close-up of the troublemakers. These tiny little hairs. They're basically like mini hypodermic needles, and they inject this mix of chemicals that gives you that famous sting. It's a pretty clever defense, but it's hiding something pretty amazing.
And here's the secret. As Future Generations University puts it, stinging nettle is remarkably versatile and useful. I mean, for centuries, people have used it for everything: food, medicine, even clothing fiber. So in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to turn this plant from something you avoid into a total garden treasure.
All right, first up, let's get properly reacquainted with this powerhouse plant.
Its official name is Urtica dioica, and it's a total nutritional superstar. Seriously, it's loaded with vitamins A, C, and D for your immune system, iron for energy, and even a really decent amount of protein. And here's the best part. That sting, it completely disappears once you cook or dry the leaves. It's totally safe and delicious.
Okay, so you're sold on the idea. Let's talk about actually getting some nettles in the ground.
You've basically got two main ways to go about this. First, you can plant from seed. You just sow them in moist soil in the early spring, and you should see little sprouts in about 2 weeks. This is great for starting a whole new patch. The other option, which is a bit faster, is called vegetative division. That just means you take a piece of the root, the rhizome, from a plant that's already growing.
Okay, if you're going with the rhizome method, it's super simple. As soon as you get them, give them a good soak to rehydrate them. You can break the cluster into smaller bits if you want, then just plant them about 8 inches apart, cover them up with a little soil, and give them a really good watering to help everything settle. Adding some mulch on top is a great idea too. It helps keep that moisture in.
Now, if you're starting from seed, here's a little trick that makes a huge difference. It's called stratification. Basically, you're going to fake a winter for the seeds. Just pop them in a cool, moist place, like your fridge, for a few weeks. This wakes them up and really improves your chances of getting them to sprout.
All right, your nettles are in the ground. Now what? Let's get into how to take care of them.
Sunlight. Well, nettles aren't super fussy about this, but if you want the biggest, best harvest, a spot with full sun to partial shade is going to be your best bet.
For soil, think about where you'd find them in the wild. They love rich, moist soil. Lots of organic matter is key. And they're not picky about pH either. They'll grow just fine in soils that are a little acidic or a little alkaline.
And here's a really cool fact about watering. Keeping the soil consistently moist doesn't just make the plants happy, it actually makes them taste better. If the soil gets too dry, the leaves can lose some of their depth of flavor. So keep them watered, especially when you're getting ready to harvest.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The big question everyone has. Is this thing going to take over my entire garden? And look, the honest answer is, it can spread. But with a little bit of planning, it's actually really easy to manage.
The trick is all about containment. You can plant your patch up against a natural barrier, like a rock wall, or just grow it in big containers to keep those roots in check. Another really simple thing to do is just snip off the flowering heads in the fall, before they have a chance to drop seeds. With these little tricks, you'll have no problem keeping your nettle patch exactly where you want it.
All right, let's get to the really good part, reaping the rewards. It's time to harvest.
And this is what you're after. See those lush, vibrant, tender leaves right at the top of the plant? That's the good stuff, absolutely packed with nutrients and flavor.
Harvesting is easy, but first things first. Gear up. Always wear gloves and long sleeves. The best time to harvest is in the early spring when the leaves are young and tender. You're just going to pick the top 4 to 6 leaves off each stalk. And if you want to keep the harvest going, just keep snipping the tops right above a node. That'll stop it from flowering and encourage more leaves to grow.
And check this out. This is your payoff. A field trial showed that your harvest can almost double from the first year to the second. So this is a plant that just keeps on giving. A little patience really pays off.
So you've got a big bowl of fresh nettles. What now? Let's talk about how to process them. And just a quick reminder, because it's important. Once you cook, dry, crush, or blend these leaves, the sting is completely gone. You can handle the finished product totally without fear.
Drying is one of the best ways to preserve your nettle for later. Just give the leaves a quick wash in cold water, pat them dry, and then either hang them up in small bundles or lay them out on a dehydrator tray at a really low temp. You'll know they're done when the stems just snap cleanly.
Once they're totally dry, store your nettle in paper bags or glass jars somewhere cool,
dark, and dry. They'll stay at their best for about 6 to 12 months.
And here's why you went through all that effort. Your harvest is now this incredible toolkit for your house and garden. You can use the leaves just like spinach in soups or pesto. You can brew them into this amazing, nourishing herbal tea. You can even make a super potent, nitrogen-rich fertilizer for your other plants. And on top of all that, you're creating a little haven for wildlife, like butterfly caterpillars and ladybugs. It's just a win-win all around.
So there you have it. From a feared weed to an incredibly versatile superfood, stinging nettle really is a plant that gives back in so many ways. The only question left is, now that you know all its secrets, what are you going to create with this powerhouse plant?